Okay, so this is the first part of volume, and I know last year you learned how to find the volume of a rectangular prism with length times width times height. And you can do that as long as it's a rectangular prism. In the case of shapes that are not a full rectangular prism, we have to do a little bit different. We would have to count the cubes that are there. So there are cubes that are hiding, so you have to kind of imagine each layer as it is. There's so many different ways to look at it. When I look at this, I see a layer here, or like a column here. I see one here, here, and here. A lot of those are hiding, so we have to make sure we look at them as a whole and not just what we see on the outside. Right here I see 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. I know that there's 2 rows that look just like this, here and here. So I'm going to add 8. Then there's 1, 2, 3 that are exactly like this one. So 8 3 times 8, 16, 24. And then I'm going to do the same thing. 8, 16, 24, 32. And then we're going to add them all together. I know that 8 and 32 is 40. 40 plus 20 is 60, plus 4 is 64, plus another 4 is 68. So that's the volume here. When you have a rectangular prism, this is A, when you have a rectangular prism it gets a lot easier because you don't have to count each individual square. You can look for the length, width, and height. Here I have a length, width, and height. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't matter how you label it. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And to find the volume, we do length times width times height. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay, if you don't know your 12's times tables, maybe do 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, now there's other types that don't give you the squares to count. So when they don't give you squares to count, you have to use your formula. So for this one, they give you length, width, and height, so you're multiplying them together. 8 times 5, 8 times 5 times 6. 8 times 5 is 40. 4 times 6 is 24, and add your 0, 240. And it's cubic centimeters because it's centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So that would be centimeters cubed or cubic centimeters. Okay, let's try one more for B. It would be 8 times 4 times 5. I'm going to do 8 and 5 because I know that 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 4 is a lot easier to do. 4 times 4 is 16, and add your 0. It's centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, so it's cubic centimeters because it's a measure of volume. Okay, now we have cubes. Cubes might seem like they're confusing, but they're actually less work because you only have one number here, which means that if this side, if the length is 5, then the width and the height are also 5. So 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. Okay? All right, let's try a different type. Now the last thing for this lesson that we did is we had problems that kind of did a step for you. Notice where it says here for A, it says the area is 40 centimeters squared or 40 squared centimeters. That's talking about this face right here in front. So what they did is they already multiplied height and length. Okay, so they already did one of the steps for you. That's how they got 40. They multiplied length and height. So now all we have to do is multiply that area by the width. And then 4 times 6 is 24, and add your 0. and it's cubic centimeters. Okay, let's try the next one. Again, here they already have the area listed, which is length times width. In this case, it's width and height. So we already have 56. We don't need to do that step since they've already given that to us. So now we're just multiplying 56 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3, 28. And it's, again, cubic meters because it's a measure of area.